Today I'm going to show you how to cook this delicious, nutritious pineapple preserve that you are going to enjoy even if it is out of season. Here are the basic ingredients that you are going to need. For instance, this knife, this chopping board especially. You will need this if you're going to cut pineapple and chop it into pieces. You're also going to need a pineapple. Now this is really important. Better if you would have to make sure if you buy a ripe and a fresh pineapple. You're also going to need 1 cup of sugar and also another cup which is containing water. And plus, you're going to need a jar. Of course, jars come with covers that protect them and seal them. You're also going to need a pot which is used for sterilizing the jar, and also another pot in which is used to cook your pineapple preserve. This is what you're going to do. The first thing you'll need to do is to try to cut the pineapple. Usually you're going to have to cut the crown. Make sure it is hard. If it is not hard, then the crown will be really much cut. By the way, the crown is also known as the pineapple leaves. This is the crown. After removing the frontal crown, you're going to remove the back, which also contains pineapple leaves. After doing the front and the back, you are to cut the skin. You're trying to peel it off, okay? The pineapple skin, which also contains the eyes. This might take some time, however, so you should have to be patient. This is probably what's the most thing about cutting pineapple. When you're preparing pineapple, make sure that you follow the first. You're going to have to cut the front, then the back, then you're going to have to make sure you peel off the skin. The skin is also home to pineapple eyes. So make sure you're careful. The cut is because it's like a hexagon, but that's really much okay. This is the exact result of cutting the front and the back and peeling off the skin that has the eyes. After peeling off the pineapple skin, the next thing you're going to do is to try removing the core. There's a way. You start by cutting the pineapple into half. Remember, the core is sweeter. If not sweeter, the rest of the fruit. This is essential. The next thing you're going to do is to try and cut it here. Try to cut it into at least a quarter. So this is what you're going to do. Hold the pineapple like this and try doing this by actually just slicing the core. Luckily, I really know how to cut. It's like this, okay? Just make sure that you are careful when holding the knife. Do it again on the same quarter. This might take some time, so you just have to be patient when cutting off the core. The core is really sweet, like I said. Once you're done with these quarters that have removed the core off, you're going to repeat it on the other side, the other half. Just keep cutting. Sorry. Just have to be careful. After you're done removing the core, then you just need to slice the quarters into 8. You do have to notice that you should have to be careful when using it. The next thing after cutting these things is to just, you're gonna have to slice them into at least 4 or 5 pineapple pieces. This is the main objective. You do want the pineapple pieces to be really much sliced. The pineapple pieces should be sliced so that when the time comes when trying to store the pineapple preserve into the jar, that will help save some space. Just keep cutting and make sure that you have your patience. Part 2, cooking sugar syrup. The first thing you're going to do is to pour a cup of water. Make sure you are too careful on this, okay? Next thing you're going to do is to pour this cup of sugar. And once you're done pouring the cup of sugar, you might want to have to stir it so that until the sugar molecules dissolve, just creating sugar syrup. Use this thing. Probably helps. Now that the syrup is already boiling, it is time to put our pineapple. The thing is, you should be careful. I recommend that you have to be stirring it. Like this. Oh, seriously. So just pour them and place them here. Make sure you are too. This is how you're going to do. You're going to have to pour the pineapple. Make sure you're still holding the plate, because if you're not holding the plate, there can be accidents. Just be careful. I recommend that you are going to do like this, okay? Plus, you need to keep your patience. Patience is a virtue. That's what's said. Or you can even do like this. Well, the thing is, you should be also careful with this as well. This might take some time already. And as last, you just try to stir them in. Voila. Once in a while, you're going to have to stir it again until it's boiling. Then you're going to have to lower the fire. Then stir. Patience is a virtue. Really. Then you're going to have to cover it again. Once in a while, you're going to have to open the cover. Then you try to check if it is boiling. Then try to stir it. Make sure the fire is low heat, okay? Then you're going to have to cover it once in a while. And you're going to have to leave and then check once in a while to see if it is finished. This is optional. If you want to add a little flavor to your pineapple preserve, use cinnamon bark. Then stir. Then you're going to have to make sure you're going to cover it. You're going to have to also leave and check again. After 10 minutes, your preserve is now ready for cooling. And this time, we're going to turn off the fire. Now it is time to sterilize our jar. But first, all we're going to have to do is to boil the water. Make sure the fire is at least medium. But I'm going to tell you this. thing is, the water, you should have to come back and check again. If the water is boiling, that's the time to put the jar, but carefully. Okay, looks like the water is boiling, so it's a good time to place our jar. Make sure that you're careful and try to cover it. By the way, this cover is made out of hard plastic, so I suggest do not place it along with this pot. Now it looks like it has been 10 minutes elapsed and it's time to turn off the fire. Now it looks like it's 10 minutes elapsed, so we turn off the fire. Well, now it is time to take out the jar from the pot. But first we're going to need to cool it. Now this is the time to make sure that the preserved pineapple is now ready to be stored. Now actually what you're going to do is to make sure that you're going to have to place the meat first. And just carefully. Remember, all patience is a virtue. You better try to observe it. For the syrup, I recommend you try draining it for a short period of time until there's less syrup, okay? Then you try to pour it, dunk it into this jar. This will take a few minutes. Also, when doing the servation storage, then you try to hold the pot. If not, then there will come a time that the preserve will sometimes spill out. You're just gonna have to keep putting the meat into this little jar. Now it is time to pour the syrup. Make sure that the jar is filled, and carefully in little amounts. It's really much ideal. Make sure the syrup fills up the jar until, okay, almost. We're just gonna keep pouring more syrup until it's almost full. Be patient. And once you're done with pouring the syrup and the meat, now you're going to have to give it a while to cool down.